Hello everyone and welcome back to the Cock Dice, where this week I've got another painting update for you guys. It's been a real mixed bag in the last 7 days. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 models done. That's still good progress, still managing my 1 model a day target for this year. It's overall to paint 365 models in a year, which I'm on track with pretty much. So I've got a couple of different game systems here, so I'm going to break these out and show you up close. First of all, we have 3 eliminators to add to my Blood Ravens force. I've so enjoyed painting up some Blood Ravens the other week. I thought I'd carry on. I've got another couple of units to go, so I'm going to slot them in every week or so, just to side the force. Really enjoyed doing these guys. They came out slightly differently to how I expected, but overall, pretty much what I wanted. Same old red armour, all the usual stuff. The main state of these guys is, of course, the camo cloaks. Maybe a picture in the back. There we go, it's catching the light a little bit. I kind of went with a foresty green kind of look. Most of my boards are either forest or jungle, and I thought the green would contrast really nicely with the red armour. These were painted essentially following some of the tips from Darren Latham's camo cloak video, which he did a little while ago. Obviously he did a kind of more blacky greyish scheme. I went with something greener, but a lot of the kind of highlighting shading techniques are exactly the same. I just adapted them to the colours I had. So that's these guys. Based in the same way, I've managed to sneak some extra gubbins on this guy's base that came with the Eliminator set from Shadow Spear, wasn't it? I've got some infiltrators to do. I've got the Psyker, which I might paint the Psyker next. I quite like painting Psykers. And what else came in that set? I can't remember. Oh, I'm going to convert the Lieutenant into a Smash Captain. That video will be coming along. Yeah, I'll not promise anything here, possibly in the next week. Moving swiftly along from those guys, I've got another 4 cops for Batman Miniatures game from Night Models. These are from the new Back to Gotham core set and are the most part of the good guys Batman team. I've still got Commissioner Gordon, Harvey Bullock to paint, along with the Big Bat himself. But these came out really, really nicely. We've got a little bit mix of characters here, so I'll give you close-ups on each of them. Got Undercover Cop, obviously just chucked on his GCPD jacket just before going into action, but I really enjoyed him kind of going for a rough kind of jeans effect on his trousers, and of course some Converse trainers, because that's what you hang around with when you're trying to be undercover and cool. Another lady cop. Oh, hold on, there we go. Yeah. Zoom in, there we go. Ooh, don't want to zoom into this figure at all. She's too small. There we go. I went with, I think they normally paint her with a jacket on, but I decided to try and break up some of the black, because painting huge amounts of black is very, very, very boring. So nothing really special about her. There we go. And the named cop, whose name I've now forgotten entirely. I'm actually slightly annoyed by this model. I'll put him back down to see why. For some inexplicable reason, he's bigger than all the rest of them. And not only is he bigger, but he's bigger and they put him on this enormous scenic base. So he's really big in comparison. Only special thing on this guy is I did a kind of stubbly beard on him. Otherwise, he's just kind of painted same as all the others. Lots and lots of black, few washes over it just to smooth out the highlights. And the final Come on, there we go. And the final guy is the kind of security guard, kind of cop in Flash Jacket. I'm really impressed, actually. Coming out on camera, this is coming out really, really nicely. It's very nice in the flesh. Is this high-vis jacket. That took quite a bit of figuring out how I was going to get this that kind of greenish reflective effect, and I actually found out that once I started playing around a bit, it was tremendously easy. So the yellow, painted it all yellow first, the brightest yellow I could find from GW, lightest yellow, sorry, not brightest, which I think I've got is possibly that one. Hang on, look, lights yellow, flash, yeah, it was that one. That's so. Essentially painted it in GW's Fanlax yellow first of all. Highlighted it a couple of times, adding white into it each time, and then I gave it a wash with GW's Waywatcher Green, which is a glaze they used to do. Just a really little glaze in essentially just in the recesses, just to bring it out. Then re-blacked out the kind of hazardy stripes, and went in with some Stratum grey, which I think is one of their lighter greys, and again a couple of white highlights on that to get these really, really light colours. And I think he stands out really nicely against the black jacket. I have just noticed, again, I'm terrible at this. It's the second week in a row I've forgotten to paint his torch lamp. I'll whip a bit of yellow onto that after this video and that'll be done. But yeah, that's these guys done, so they just need to be varnished now. But otherwise they're ready for the table. Finally this week I've knocked together this guy who I've had in my collection for a number of years. I think he's from GW. I'm pretty sure he's part of the old Tomb Kings line. My wife bought him for a present at some point in the past because I fancied it. I got the High Queen as well, and he's Prince something or other. This week I've mainly got into some solo pulp gaming. So if you check out my channel, there is a video under the name of Pulp Tales. No, not Pulp Tales, Perilous Tales. If you check under the channel, there is a video called Perilous Tales, number something or other, Butch Sullivan and the Curse of the Mummy. I needed a mummy figure, or mummy-esque figure, and I decided to have this guy for him. So again, come on, focus in. Oh, this is not working well. Sweet, there we go. This guy is a really quick paint job. Essentially all metallics first of all. This is all Ironbreaker, and then obviously the gold at the top. For all the rest, maybe I'll do this hand, it might be better. So Ironbreaker all at the bottom, washed with black, dry brushed up a little bit just to bring the top edges up, and then washed with Drakenhof Nightshade and then Gulliman Glaze. It gives it a really nice matte feel, but also kind of shows the metallic-ish underneath. Just gives this hint of them all being scarabs. Picked out the skulls. The gold is Retributor Armour, just washed with Agrax Earthshade and dry brushed up with Retributor Armour again. A little bit of blue, just whatever bright blue I had to hand. And the sword, I've kind of gone with a jade-ish, obsidian-ish blade because it just stood out nicely from the rest of him. Bit of a cracked earth base, again just using GW's, go on, focus. Doesn't want to focus. GW's Agrellan Earth. Does not like this figure at all for zooming in. And then a bit of bone on him. So that's that guy done as well. That's this week's painting. So the challenge is still on. I'm still cracking through stuff. I've got a load of figures in progress. I've obviously got the rest of the starter set to do. I've got a bunch of cultists to paint for some pulp adventures, and I've got just a variety of other monster figures. I've also had my 3D printer working overtime. I've also had the 3D printer working overtime this week, just to mainly flesh out my collection a little bit. So I've built a bunch of all these things at the back, with all these here, these two, and this guy here are all just random objective markers for pulp gaming. You can never, ever, ever have enough wolves. And after a slight mishap, hang on, I'll show you the mishap. The mishap. Okay. There. I slightly underprinted the size on this. He is about, these are, how big are these gaps? These are 1 centimetre gaps, so he's only 2 and a bit centimetres long. Managed to rescale these wolf models correctly. Also did some sort of slimy thing, Shoggoth, because I'll probably do some Cthulhu cult games as well, because I've a bunch of deep ones and little Cthulhu monsters from years ago that I've painted up. So I'm going to add a few bits and pieces to those to allow me to do some of those games. So there's going to be more Pulp Tales over the next week as well, and I will be getting these painted up in between other bits I've got on the table already. So it's nice and busy. I shall see you all again. Thank you very much for joining us once again. I will be back again this time next week with another video with a painting update. Thank you all for joining us again. I'll be back this time next week with another painting update video. Goodbye all.